Okay, so in today's video, I will show you how to help your child learn the numbers from 1 to 10. So, preferably if you have like a 1 year old child or a preschooler, you might want to teach them the numbers not only by the words for the numbers but also with the meaning of quantity for the numbers. So I will show you two ways of doing this. One is using this kind of colorful cards that you can make on your own. First, you can find them on the internet and print them out, but also you can use a thicker or thinner regular paper, wrapping paper even, to cut out the little squares and then use a marker or a paper corrector to write down the numbers on them yourself. So in this pile I have cards from 1 to 20 and they are by number. So I will just divide them to make sure that we have like all the numbers. But I also recommend you to make more than one set of such numbers, because that way when you ask your child to divide all these numbers into sections, there is not only one solution to the task you gave them. So if you have like two sets or more sets, they can compare different patterns with the same number, check out how it is written, is it cursive or not, and make more than one combination with all of the cards that you've given them to complete the task. So this is how a regular task would look like for an older preschooler. So if your child is like more than 3 years old, they may already notice and are able to distinct all of these numbers. So it is a very supportive developmental method to, just leave your child to do all the work itself, so you don't need to get this done for them, but be close and monitor and give some guidance or help when they encounter the problem. So in example, here I was putting the 7 and the 9. So once we have all of them and once we get the number 8 from the pile, there's no room for 8. So in this moment they encounter that there is a trouble with this, and then if they're not able to solve the problem on their own, that is the moment when you say, okay, 8 comes between 7 and 9, just move. I will just help you by moving these numbers here and making room at the adequate place for the number 8. So because once a child sees this very complicated task, for them obviously it's very complicated and very demanding, they will notice that they need their full attention to be able to respond to all of the parts of the task, and at that moment their brains are working with magnificent speed, and you don't want to interrupt the process. That is a process of learning and growth of their brain and their capacities. So you don't want to have that interrupted. You want that to proceed. That is actually the greatest thing that you are trying to achieve in creating a game like this one. So okay, number 10, and then you can help them by positioning all these numbers at certain places so they can connect. An example, here I have numbers all the way to 20. So I will just, point out that this is number 1 to 10, and then this is 11. It is like repeating the number 1, but with one more digit. So these are 2 digits, these are 1 digit, and therefore you put the 12 under the 2, the 13 under the 3, the 14 under the 4, etc., etc., and you get the connections about everything that has to do with the numbers happens in the child's brain at that very moment. So it is very important to make sure that you don't miss that you don't talk too much like I do now, to give extra input to the child at the very moment, because even if you don't say a word, their little eyes are roaming around this full colorful setting, and their little brains are already receiving all the information they need to be able to operate on the task you just gave them. Of course, I'm here to, it is easy for myself as well as for you to collect all these numbers, to divide them, to make a little mathematical operations in the back of your mind with all of this. But for a little child, it is not supposed to go that way. They are supposed to be left here alone to observe and to absorb everything, and they will take as much as time as they need. So you won't feel, you might feel like it is too much time, but until they are bored and they abandon the task deliberately, I think it is good for them to, take their whole time, as much time as they need to absorb. Obviously, they may not connect with the best, with the easiest ways of solving the digits and putting them in the right order. So this is a place where you want to help. But again, I will say, make sure that you don't interfere too much, because when the child feels like they are rushed into something, and they are expected to pick up on something and not to but they don't get it, but they are expected to get it, and then they may just immediately lose interest, because the message that you send to them in that way is that they are less clever than you expected, or less witty, or that they're doing something wrong. You expect them to do something better, and in that case all of your efforts and all of your good intentions are washed in the rush, in the eagerness to keep your child to see your child advancing by something that is just your expectation, So every child has their own way of learning, of understanding things. Even if things go slower or faster, that doesn't necessarily mean much. So what is most important is that you drop all of your personal expectations on the subject, and instead it's not about you when they learn and how good they learn all the numbers or anything for that matter. It is mostly about them. So you need to be the spectator, you need to be patient, you need not to take things personally. So if your child insists on a different way of putting all this together, then that's fine. So the good thing, if you create such cards like this on your own, you don't need to be perfect in how you cut them or how you paint them or how you print them, how you write the numbers. You just want to make sure that there is enough of all the different ways to support their learning. So in example, one of the games that can be played with this open-ended toy is to put all the numbers in their row. Then another game that you can play is to connect files with similar patterns. In example, once your child finished with this, you say, okay, let's take blue wavy patterns from each of our piles, and then you pick everything else up and you leave only this one. Okay, this is number one. Now which one is similar with this number one from all the patterns that we have here? And the child says this one. Okay, he may say this one too, which is not you see how there is not only one correct answer, you know. And then okay, you put the number 2 right next to number 1. Then you ask, okay, let's do number 3. Which one do you think should follow? So obviously, in our adult logic, this one should follow, but it is not the only solution. This one also has blue. They may want to contrast things. They may choose this one because it's again a wavy pattern. So you just leave up to the child which combination, because you see they're all different. You're not aiming to make them choose all the same, or if you make them all the same, then that is a different kind of logical and eye coordination and memory game even. So you may want to choose very different patterns like blue ones, orange ones, purple ones, but you may want to choose also very similar patterns. In example, put all the blue ones or all the orange ones. Like over here you find few same colors, different patterns, or same pattern, different colors of cards, and you choose them to be all the sets that you produce for your child. And then you just give in and give the child the freedom to create their own game, create their own rules, and finish through to a task that they personally will find motivating and age appropriate for their own age. So I hope this helps, and this gives you a lot of ideas about how to create an open-ended toy for your boy or girl, for your toddler or preschooler, that they are going to have a lot of fun times enjoying together or independently. If you are creating this kind of materials for your child, you may want to use some thicker card box or a plastic kind of paper, even maybe stick this with non-toxic glue, stick the printed or the drawn cards on top of another surface. If your child is younger, they may want to chew on it, they may want to bend it, and they can easily damage it. So make sure whether you decide to have one-use cards or multiple-use cards like this one that I made, and have fun with your little guys. Bye bye, see you in the next educational video.